So I'm trying to do more physical media videos on this channel. So I want to do a video called my top 5 box sets I have, or top 5 works box sets. I haven't decided the title of the video, in my collection. And I'm going to show you 5 of them. And keep in mind, while I say this, understand, while I do hate them to some degree, I have them for a reason, and I do actually like having them, right? There's a reason they're still here, but let's start with number 1, or number 5. Number 5 is a kind of a easy one here for me, and it really bothers me for one particular reason. Now, for one thing, this is a fine set, right? Because you get a slip cover, you go pull it off, it's a big box. You get seasons here. You know, they have the episodes listed under the disc, which I actually am okay with, because when I watch disc, it works. Though I guess if you were watching them like in this part of the set, you probably wouldn't be pulling them out to see those episodes. Still always would prefer an episode guide. It's a piece of paper. There's no reason you can't print it. But here's the problem with this set. You see this missing disc spot right here? When I pre-ordered this, okay, this showed up in my mailbox. And I legit thought it was missing a disc. And I was upset. But then I read all the discs and they were all correct. So I'm thinking, why is there just one big empty disc slot? And there really, at the end of the day, is not a reason for it. It is just, it's not missing a disc. I've seen other unboxings. This is how it came. It just has a giant hole in the back of the set where, you know, the disc used to be. Or where a disc could be, I guess. I think that at the end of the day, why didn't you just put, like, I don't know, like a special features disc? I mean, this has only got 6 featurettes on it. I don't know, but it's not there. And it's annoying. I don't really like that. And so that's why it's on that spot. Now, granted, it's not that big of a deal. That's why it's only at number 5. But my OCD, it's hard for me to let that go a little bit. So, there you go. Next one on my list is actually an amazing box set. This is the Frank Capra box set. This is probably one of the ones that's probably not the most knowledgeable with my audience. But basically, Frank Capra was a big director back in like the 1920s, 1930s, like old Hollywood stuff, right? And this, basically the idea of this collection is it takes all of his films from Columbia's library, like Sony, and it puts them all in a set together. So you have movies in here that are on Blu-ray, on 4K. They're kind of all mixed into here together. So you have Blu-rays, you have 4Ks. Some of these are like very, very old silent movies. So like kind of upgrading them to 4K probably wouldn't do much. And I guarantee you that Sony, knowing them, they tried. There probably was not the film elements for those. And so, yeah, this is a great looking set. What's the problem? Well, let me show you when I tried to set it on my bookshelf. Do you see that lip? That lip makes this impossible to store anywhere and make it feel natural. Because if I want to put it on its side, it would not fit well on its side because it still has the lip on its side. Like, I'll give you an example. This is kind of, I guess, the biggest. It's a little bit longer, but you see my Buffy set. If I wanted to put this on my DVD set shelf, it would fit on its side well and almost kind of match up with the shelf. Now, granted, I'm not doing that. I keep these in a different spot just because of the odd shape of these. But you get my point that the lip design is a little silly. And there's not... there had to be a way that you could design this with the door that didn't have that lip. Because that's kind of the idea, is they want to give you these magnetic doors, which I think is great in principle, except that the more you open this, it does wear and tear on these. And if you're not careful with these doors, they could rip. Now, they're not going to be easy to rip, but you know what I mean. So it's kind of a frustrating thing for me about this set. So that's number 4 on this list. Great box set. It's a miracle we have something like that in modern day physical media. Like just the fact that we have a big box set like that of so many older films and so many of them being like classic films like that. I mean, the fact that there are silent movies from the 20s in there on 4K Blu-ray, like, and not just one, but like multiple, is crazy. And it was like less than $200. So next one is a set that I love, and this one goes for a shit ton of money, actually. But I do have one problem with this set. So this is my Fraggle Rock Blu-ray collection. This set gives me a lot of OCD for a reason. So it's in book packaging, which I normally don't dislike, but the disc don't actually slide out that much. Actually, no, I'm not gonna put this on the list. This will just be an honorable mention before we get to the last 3. Okay. The reason this one gives me an OCD problem, and why I thought about putting it on the list, is this set is out of print. You cannot buy Fraggle Rock on Blu-ray at the moment. It was in print, and this is a great set. It's got all the episodes in Blu-ray HD quality. This set sells for well over $100. But it also gives you a little booklet that falls out of the back here because it's just a book. Right? You open this and ta-da! Oh. There was a little, like, traveling mat, like bookmark kind of thing. I lost that because it just kept falling out. So I do love this set. It is gorgeous. I mean, these pages with all the production notes and facts about the world, of Fraggle Rock is amazing. But it's still, like, I don't know. And I kind of always hoped that Sony would reprint this in a normal, like, box set size, but they never did. So, I guess we'll start with number 3 now. That was just an honorable mention, but you can see why that set bothers me. This one has bothered me for years. Okay. So this is my copy of Gumby the movie on Blu-ray. Now, if this was a harder plastic, I could forgive a little bit of this. But this is the Gumby the movie set. First of all, I keep it on my J card for a reason. Because it just looks better this way. Because you take it out of this, and this just looks weird on the shelf. In fact, let me put it back on the shelf so you can see what I'm talking about. Let me move some stuff out of the way real quick. See? It just looks weird on the shelf, right? So then you put the J card in. And it looks just slightly better. Explain the problem with this set. Okay. So this is very cheap plastic. It is like I don't know how many guys know what I'm talking about, but you go to the Dollar Tree, right, and you were going to buy a plastic bucket for the beach, right? It's like that cheap plastic at the Dollar Tree that you would find for something like that. Very breakable. I think, the only reason this isn't showing more wear and tear is because this doesn't get washed that often, I'm going to be honest. But then you open it up, and let me show you here what you're dealing with. So, you open it up. Okay. It's cardboard holding your disc in. Now, granted, the actual disc holders themselves are actually sturdy. Like, it's not just like some glue or some shit that they put in here. No. Like, this actually snaps into place. You do have to kind of unpush it out a little bit. So that's good, right? Because, some of these don't even have that. But it's just cardboard in there holding your disc in place. Just cardboard. That's fucking crazy. Granted, I do just give this some benefit of a doubt where it was trying to be a cool design, but like, okay, why isn't it built in here? with like higher packaging holding the disc in. Like, why isn't it actual like plastic that holds it in here? So when I open it up, because I wouldn't, you know, as much as the case is made with cheap plastic, it's kind of fine if you're not, you know, messing around with it too much. But I don't know. And the worst part is, this is probably the last release we'll get of this movie, because InCircle owns the rights to this. This is out of print. I don't know if it goes for a lot of money, because I'm sure you can find this cheap still hanging around, but I don't know. The DVD went out of print, and it started going for a little bit of money, and then once the Blu-ray came in print, it stopped going for as much. But yeah, it's not really a great movie, but you know, the people want to have this, so it's a whole weird thing. I don't know, but I want to show that. Alright, now we're going to get into number 2. This one probably hurts the most, but is Firefly the Complete Series. There is a standard Walmart edition of this, and I've thought about buying it. I probably should, but it is more money, and it's out of print, and it's not as cheap as it used to be. But here's the problem with this set. You can kind of pull this out, and it's paper in here. And I mean, it's cool because it's got like some quotes from the show. You got some cool scenery, but here's the problem. That is very cheap glue, and that was holding. So all 3 discs just fell out. I will admit, all these discs are scratched. Now, they play fine, because Blu-rays are a little scratch resistant, but that doesn't mean I want my disc scratched, because eventually they won't play fine the more they're in this case. But look at that. All the glue on these has come undone, and now they bang around in this case. And I know that there's a standard version of this set, like I said, but that standard version of the set is is out of print, and this is out of print too. But it's a Walmart exclusive, basically, where it was like it was Walmart exclusive. I think it was like $20, because this is not a long running show. It only ran for like 15 episodes, and not all the episodes aired on TV. So when they released it physically, that's how you got the whole show, right? This is kind of in the era where DVDs and Blu-rays, you know, when they come out with shows that got canceled, they would kind of give them new life by the physical coming out. That's, you know, that's probably how most people discovered this show. Now it's probably streaming and stuff, but yeah. What a terrible packaging. And, you know, also it doesn't include Serenity, by the way, which I guess is another ding against this, because, you know, but that honestly wasn't the fault of the makers of the set. That movie's rights are with Universal, and Universal is actually taking care of that movie. It's on 4K, and we should get the whole series of Firefly on 4K Blu-ray, or a better Blu-ray set, but we don't. So, you know, we're going to get this last set. And this one hurts the most to me. It hurts. Well, actually, this one hurts the least, because this is going to be very easy to rebuy. Scooby-Doo on Where Are You? The Complete Series. So this is the original Scooby-Doo on Blu-ray. This is the set that they released for the 50th anniversary. Now, not everything's in here. If you notice, there's a hole in the middle. Reason there's a hole in the middle is it came with a Funko Pop keychain of Scooby. I use that for my keys for work, if you can see them there. So that's the only thing missing. But basically, you got a mini Scooby-Doo encyclopedia, and then you get this little thing here, which doesn't seem too bad until you realize, oh shit, I opened it up and already our discs are loose. Well, it's because when you put the disc on the tray here, there's no snap. And if it's not snapping, then what's the point? It doesn't actually hold your disc in place. Sometimes when I open this set, there's only 3 discs that popped out, and other times there's 4. Like all 4 come loose. Sometimes it's just 1. It just depends. It's not horrible, but because the actual snapping, what's the point of having these plastic like things here? If you, when I press the disc in, it doesn't snap into place. And I've tried like pushing down harder. No, it doesn't snap. And I think it's because, let me show you here. Let me take this off. When you look at this, this is pushed out a little bit more. Like it's a little bit stronger. It's like literally the cheapest version of it. So the disc constantly bang around in here. Now there is a plus side to this, which is that there is a standard version of this now, which there used to not be. Basically, what Warner Brothers does this with some of their animated things they do on Blu-ray. They'll make a fancy like collector's edition, and then what they'll do is they'll take that and it'll be like limited number, and it comes with the Funko Pop. They did it with a couple Batman shows. They did it with the Bugs Bunny set, and then they'll just reissue the fancy version, but in like a standard case, basically. So you don't get the Funko Pop, you don't get the extra goodies, and it's cheaper. So there is like a standard version, and it doesn't run very much. It's only like $25 majority of the time, but I've seen that as low as $13, and I will rebuy that because honestly, this is just a display piece on my shelf. And it's a great display piece. Like, I love this display piece, but trying to watch these episodes, oh, it doesn't happen. Granted, I'm not too stressed about it. I'm not watching these episodes that often because it's, you know, it's really old Scooby-Doo. It's like over 50 years old, which is not me like trashing it. I mean, it, you know, it was good for the time, but like, you know, there's Scooby-Doo stuff that I'm growing up with that I want to watch more than this, right? You know, and I, you know, as someone who's been watching a lot of Hanna-Barbera shows, a lot of those shows aren't great to rewatch. A lot of them are all the same episodes. Like I watch Wacky Races, right? Every episode's the same, right? So you're not like crazy about it, but it's a good box set. So in design idea, like this is a cool design. It just failed in actually holding your disc. And if you can't hold the disc of something, oops, you screwed up.